clusterfuck already. Let me get things set up here, and I'll let you guys know what's going on, what's taking so long. So there were a bunch of people over on the other stream, and I'll tell you in a second what happened with that. But hopefully, you guys will see that I'm live and jump over here, because there were a lot of people there and there's no one here. So right now we're just waiting, and in the background here I'm getting things set up. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to keep the camera from falling over, but we're going to try it. Hey, got one person on, so I guess notifications are going out. So, hey, Greg. Hey, happy Thanksgiving. So, to everyone, this is the November 2023 live stream. As you can see, we're off to a rough start. I had to get a last-minute venue. I had some technical difficulties last month because when I went to sign in, YouTube had changed all of the live stream features. Hey, John, I'm glad you found the stream. I'm explaining I had some issues with the other one that was scheduled. But basically, last month they changed all the settings for how live streaming works, and they didn't tell me. So it wasn't until I went into stream for you guys at the end of last month that suddenly, like, it wouldn't rotate, and like I got all these notifications saying like, hey, you have to deal with this right now, right when I was trying to go live. So I thought I had that figured out, and as you guys saw, I posted a poll on my community tab of, do you guys want to do it vertical, do you want to do it horizontal, or do you not care? And the majority of people said don't care. And of the other two options, horizontal, like we normally do it, was what you wanted. There were a few other people that voted for vertical. Now, I was completely kind of blindsided beginning last stream as to why it would want me to stream vertically, because if you guys remember in the past, people would get very upset if you filmed videos vertically, right? But I guess that's changed now. That's what YouTube is promoting, and basically what I found out is that the reason that they're promoting vertical live streams now is that if you stream vertically, then your stream can possibly show up in either the shorts feed or the live shorts feed. Now, you guys let me know, do you have a live shorts feed? Because YouTube says it exists and I can't find it anywhere. I do have a shorts feed, but I've never come across a live video as I'm scrolling through. But yet, we know that last month there were at least 2 people who came on the stream who said, hey, I got, you know, I found you from lives. And it was because I was live streaming in that new format. So, apparently some people were finding it. Now, I do see the comments are starting to come in. I'm still getting my computer set up in the back. I'll explain the whole situation that's going on here. But I'll explain why I'm on this second live stream today rather than the one that, that I'd actually scheduled. So, I was running late to get to the venue today, as always, and there's some kind of crazy party going on in the front room that I was not aware of. It's not on the schedule. There's like 50 people in there. I think it's somebody's holiday party, so I don't want to interrupt that. So I went downstairs where I stream a lot of times, and they're filming a movie down there, like a straight up movie with like a boom mic and like that like clapboard thing that you do, you know, when you start filming. So I don't know what that is. That's also not on the schedule. I wasn't planning on anybody being here. It was just going to be me. So I'm in something called the recycle room. We have these, well, they're called phone booths, and they're these tiny little rooms that you're supposed to go into to be able to take a phone call without bothering anybody. Technically, you're supposed to pay for it, but I do have a few credits that I have not used in order to book the room. I get a few credits every month and I never use them. So, well, actually forgot to book it, but if they say anything to me, I'm going to say just use my credits for it. I think they charge $25 an hour or something, but I can use the credits to cover that. So anyway, I thought I had everything prepared and I was going to do the vertical live stream again because more people said they wanted horizontal, but if you added the vertical and the people who didn't care, that was the option that won. Because I was like, well, it would be nice, you know, get some more people in here if they find it from me streaming vertically, so we'll try that again. But what happened was I got in here and I got on the stream and I even saw y'all's comments. There were like 11 people waiting. I even saw the comments that come in. Somebody's like, oh, he must be running late. I'm like, I'm in the stream, I can see your comments, but my screen was like grayed out and I don't know. It looked like it was streaming. You guys couldn't see me. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it just like would not connect right. And then when I tried to make the new one, it wouldn't rotate my screen. It's been a whole mess. Okay, I don't know what's going on. So anyway, that is where we're at today. I am in Delaware, Ohio still, and we'll talk a little bit later about when I'm moving, because that's coming really soon. But we got 11 people on here now, so I guess you guys are starting to get the notifications that I'm live. I'm sorry that we got a late start and that this has been such a mess. I am still in the background here trying to get my computer up so that I can see all of your comments and start responding to them. Or maybe I can calm down a little bit, settle down, stop ranting. So as I do that, I wanted to ask you guys about Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving was just a few days ago, and that's not what I want. So Thanksgiving is a few days ago. What did you guys do? Because I had a big event on the 20th, so last Monday, that I had to prepare for. Otherwise, I really thought about doing the live stream last week because I knew a lot of people would be off work and be able to be here. Oh, also guys, I think you're just gonna have to deal with me not having a top to my head today. The room that I'm in and like kind of the setup in here, I don't have a place to put my phone. So this is about the best I can do. Let's see here. Go to live streams. What are you doing? This is becoming a monthly thing where I try to stream and then YouTube has changed all of the settings on the phone app and on the website where I can't find anything. YouTube. Oh. Okay, yeah, that's probably going to happen several times. Just fair warning. But you guys know how my life is right now, so that's pretty much explains it. I saw one comment come in. I'm pretty sure it was from Greg. Let me see if I can access that on the phone. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Hey, John, I just saw your comment. Raula just got the notification. Awesome. Okay, so they are going out. I'm kind of bummed out because honestly there were a lot of people waiting on that stream, and now there's like not nearly as many people who are here. So I'm thinking that yeah, SB, I see your comment. That's what I'm thinking, is everybody's still waiting over there, and I've started this new stream. If you guys if you're watching this back, you already know, because I just explained it. If you're jumping on right now live, then basically what happened was I got logged into the stream and it was just a gray screen on my phone. I could see you guys, I could see the comments coming in, but I could not like actually stream, and I couldn't reply to anything. So that was what happened there. Greg, that's cool. I've never been to New Hampshire or like that entire part of the country. It seems like it would be really cold up there right now, because I know it's super cold in Ohio. SB, you have 10 people on the old live stream you tried. I left a message on the chat to tell them to come over here. Okay, cool. Because as far as I know, it ended that stream, but who knows? They changed everything again since last month. Hey, Jennifer. Video just started for me. Okay, glad to see you again. Cool. So you're probably a few minutes behind. I'm actually about just 11 minutes into this second stream here. I've missed a few past months. That's fine. You know how busy I've been with my schedule. I totally get that. Also, once again, I'm probably going to drop the phone a whole bunch of times during this. So if you guys randomly see the ceiling, that's what happened. I just don't have a good setup right now. And we were just a couple minutes away from having to stream from the car again. The only reason I didn't do that is I started this with my battery at 67%. So I decided to come inside so that I could actually, well, one, stream through Wi-Fi rather than my mobile data, but also so I could actually plug my phone in. Okay, I'm almost there on the back end, guys, where I can see your comments, because it's really hard to see them from the phone. But yes, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for reminding everyone of that, to give the thumbs up on this video. I appreciate that. Also, Jennifer, Sweden related, I had an interview at IKEA, not to work at the store, but to do something similar to what I do for TaskRabbit, which is also owned by IKEA. I would be working for, I think it's called IKEA Kitchen Solutions. It's a company that they bought, and it's the company that goes out and installs the kitchens. So instead of going to the customer's house and building furniture like I do now, and I'll keep doing that, but I would actually go out to the customer's house and measure, just measure their kitchen, measure their walls, and then send that back to IKEA for them to design the kitchen system. And before I forget, drink of the day, I've got two of them. They're the same, well, they're not the same thing. This is Coke Zero. This is Pepsi, Diet Pepsi. So basically the same thing. But I basically woke up, took a shower, got food immediately before this, and then came here to do this. So I'm still trying to wake up. That's what all the caffeine is for. And guys, I apologize already that this is so scatterbrained. That's just the way I am right now. Still trying to find you on the back end here. Let's see. Oh, John, W-2 employee or contractor. So this actually would be a W-2 employee, but it's not full-time and it's not consistent. They did say that they'd work with my furniture assembly schedule. They said if anything, they'd send me out for like 2 days a week, but I could just figure out what days I wanted to tell them I'd be available that week to do that. So they're pretty cool with that. I am surprised that they're so lenient. And then Jennifer said, IKEA, yay. It seems like a great job for you. Do you have an offer from them? Well, I don't have an offer yet. And here's the thing. If I get an offer at this point, I'm actually going to have to turn it down. I applied for the job, I don't know, maybe around the end of October. And it took them a little while to get back to me. And then I started, well, I had a phone interview, and then I had a Zoom interview with like the guy that would be my manager. And he was talking like I was hired, but I haven't heard anything back. And I checked yesterday on their website, and it just says interview completed as the status. So it seems like they haven't made a decision. And maybe it's because of the holiday or whatever, but the thing is, it's based out of Ohio, like the service area I'd be in, and I'm moving to North Carolina. Like, I have to because of the temperature here. I have to go south. So I was going to give it a try, and I mean, maybe I could have stuck it out longer here through the winter if I'd gotten the job, but I can't really justify not moving since I haven't heard back. So I don't know. I don't really think I'd like working in the store in IKEA unless I maybe worked in the back just building furniture that they use for the displays. I know that's a position, but I haven't seen that available anytime that I've looked. Not at our location anyway. But I actually, I'm going to keep looking. TMUSA, I just saw your comment. I am a little bit scatterbrained here. Let me get into the live on my video. Okay. So I see a couple comments coming in. TMUSA, how many minutes have I missed? As of right now, I am at 16 minutes, 33 seconds. So that's up to you if you want to put it on, 1.5 speed and get caught up, or how you'd like to do that. Jennifer says, do you have an apartment in North Carolina? I don't. Oh, shoot. On top of everything else, this table is wobbling. Okay. I don't have an apartment in North Carolina. I'm going to be essentially in the same situation there as I am here. I do have my co-working spaces. It is not the same company that I have my co-working space with here, but it is a company. I was about to say something that made no sense. It's the same company. It operates under a different name, but the company that I have my co-working space through bought this other co-working space down there. So I'll have access to all of their locations. And it's going to be the same deal. That's going to be my home base. That's where I'm going to get my stuff charged, store my food, prepare my food in the kitchen, that kind of stuff. We got 20 people on, so that's awesome. Everybody's coming over from the other stream. So basically, I do not have an apartment. I'll still be living in my car, but yeah, basically I'm going to be in North Carolina, and here's why. I'm going to be in North Carolina because it is absolutely cold. Like, I don't know what the temperature is where you are. I mean, I know that you're far north, so it's probably cold, but it's probably just as cold here. And you can imagine basically living outside in that. It's gotten down. We've had a few really cold nights, and it's gotten down to like 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So I know 20 Celsius is okay, but 20 Fahrenheit is really cold because 32, I believe. I should definitely know this. But 32, I think, is freezing, which would be 0 Celsius. Oh, it's snowing? Yeah, hey, it's actually snowing here, too. It's actually snowed quite a few times already this year, but it's always like that smallest bit of snow where it's actually raining, but then it like kind of turns into a snowflake just before it hits the ground. So it's like almost snowing. We've had that quite a few times. I obviously want to get the hell out of here before that starts. I love snow, but I hate cold. It's not really a great combination, but I got to get south before that happens. Now, it is usually anywhere between a 10 and 20 degree difference in temperature between where I'm at in northern Ohio and Southern North Carolina, which is where Charlotte is. So realistically, with me sleeping in my car, I am going to need to be somewhere warm, and that 10 to 20 degrees makes a huge difference. So the idea is that I'm going to get down there. I'm going to use my network of co-working spaces to kind of live the same lifestyle I'm living now. I can switch TaskRabbit over to that location. They have TaskRabbit in that city. I'm going to continue doing DoorDash and Instacart until I get something more stable. But I am also applying for jobs down there, like jobs. Turns out it's not quite true that everyone's hiring and that you can just get a job. So, I would say out of all of the jobs I've applied for, I've probably, other than rejection letters, IKEA is the only one that's even reached out to me. So, not a good, response rate. I'm also kind of a little bit disappointed because North Carolina is supposed to also be a very booming, like up and coming place like Columbus, but I'm seeing a lot less opportunity for work. And I'm in kind of a weird position where I want to go down to, like, I want to go down there and I'd be like, man, I could just get a winter job at the mall hiring for Christmas. But I'm kind of late for that. Like, they'd be hiring me around the 1st of December to work for like 3 weeks. And I don't think they're going to do that. I'll try, but so I'll look into that. And guys, I do see your comments coming. I finally got it up here on my computer. You guys are right here. My computer is actually right behind you, so you're going to see me reaching over here. Let me see here. I'll get caught up on the comments. Jennifer says, "Where are you? It looks like you have you have built a fort out of cardboard." So, I guess you can see it in the video. I hope there's acoustic foam on both of the walls here, and then yeah, this literally is just cardboard. They have different names for our different rooms here. This is called the recycle room. I guess this is why. And I guess this is probably supposed to be some sort of soundproofing as well. Yeah, he said it's snowing like crazy there. TMUSA says it's cold in Iowa and will be 15 degrees Fahrenheit tonight. We got about 3 inches of snow last night. Yeah. Yeah, it's too cold. I really can't do another winter here. And I was thinking about how ironic this is. Because, rich people have a place up north and then they go south for the winter and then they come back. That's essentially what I'm doing. I'm going to be back in Ohio because I got to, at the very least, take care of my storage units next year and focus on getting those cleaned out. But it's just ironic because it's like, well, like, I'm poor. Like, they do that because they're rich, but I'm doing the same thing because I'm poor. Because I have to move south so I don't freeze to death. And then when it warms back up, I can move back up here and deal with the stuff that I need to. Freshlight says, did you get a job? I did not get a job. I had 2 interviews for a job, but I'm not going to be able to take it just because they took so long to get back to me that I'm moving now, and I'm not able to stay here to take it because of the weather. And it wasn't like it was like a full-time job with benefits where I could just go get an apartment. It was a couple days a week, and I don't know what the pay was. At a minimum, it was $16 an hour, which is pretty low. There was a range, but I don't know what they're going to end up offering with that. Jennifer says, how are you surviving in a car in the cold? Well, so the biggest thing is I got a 0-degree sleeping bag. And it's, well, and that's Fahrenheit, by the way. So 0-degree sleeping bag is supposed to be 0 Fahrenheit, which I can't calculate Celsius in my head, but it's really cold. And 0 degrees is supposed to be the comfort level. Now, like I said, it's been getting down to like 20 degrees, and I'm fine in the sleeping bag with that. Now, I do have like what feels like a cold draft blowing on my face the whole time. That wakes me up sometimes. And then it's like freezing in the car when I have to get in the sleeping bag and then when I have to get out of the sleeping bag. But to get me through the night, that's been working fine. I also have the big, it's like a quilt that I had on my bed when I had an apartment. And I throw that over the sleeping bag. Also, sometimes I sleep in my coat. I slept in my coat last night. So it's like, I have my clothes, my coat on, get in the sleeping bag, and then have like the quilt on top of that. It's definitely not ideal, but it gets me through the night. Jonah the architect says you don't need a job. Who wants a 9 to 5? I definitely wish I didn't. I definitely wish I did not have to get a job. I don't see a way around it. This month especially has been bad as far as work. Without going into like all the details, but like you guys know that I think most people know, DoorDash has cut their pay, and they also just, the volume of orders on there is terrible. You either don't get orders, or the ones you get are just so bad that you would not be making a profit if you took them. And then also, there's Instacart, and they cut their pay, and there's not as much demand on there either. Now, my main thing is TaskRabbit, but man, TaskRabbit is dead. And we found out that TaskRabbit raised their fees again. They're charging a 49% fee now. So whatever my hourly rate is, they charge a 49% fee to the customer on top of that. So they're charging like 60 some dollars an hour, I guess, which explains why nobody's hiring me. And it's not just me, it's, I've checked with other taskers, and they're not getting much work either. So I am still here and there where I can get enough money together. I'm posting ads. I just posted one last night in North Carolina with the expectation that I can line up some work for when I get down there. Hopefully I get something from that. I've got a few people reacting to the post, but I haven't gotten anybody contacting me saying they want anything assembled. I'm hoping maybe somebody is getting something for Christmas and will want it put together. But basically my main source of income is completely cut off, and it's been that way. If you guys think about last year, it was the same way. The TaskRabbit just completely dies in the winter, and then in the summer you're just absolutely slammed. So I'll do what I can to drum up business, but in the meantime, I do need to find something, and that's why I'm trying to find some kind of low-level job in North Carolina. And I'm looking for low-level because I have to come back in the spring. So I want a job that they're not going to care all that much that I am only there for like 5 months. Jennifer says, Caleb Hammer says you can just walk in at Panda Express and get a job on the spot. Is that true? I don't know, and I remember you telling me about him, and I remember I looked him up, but I don't remember what the deal was with him. Now, Panda Express is a fast food restaurant. Very unpopular opinion, but I don't like it. I have this weird relationship with Panda Express where I keep going there, And every time I'm like, well, I haven't had this in a while. I can give it a try. And then I go and I'm like, oh yeah, I forget I never like this place every it's just the food's not good. Like it's just not good at all. And I don't understand why people like it so much. Um, you guys, I eat at McDonald's. I am not picky about food, but I just don't like Panda Express. And I'm just kind of looking around and like, you all know this is bad, right? Like how it's not just like it's okay. People love it. They like love the orange chicken. And I'm just like, it's yeah. Um but yeah, so I looked up Caleb Hammer. I don't think that that is actually true. I think that that is I want to say that maybe he's close to right. Maybe at some Panda Express locations you could walk in, or maybe not specifically Panda Express. Maybe he's just using that as an example and he's saying you can walk into a fast food place and get a job. But I don't think that's actually accurate. I mean, based on the fact that I'm looking for positions right now, I'm applying for positions right now, and I've only gotten one response from any company, I mean, other than a rejection. Um, I feel like that's not possible. And I mean, I'm sure you know, I don't know about him in particular, but like Dave Ramsey's usually the example we use here. Those people are mostly full of shit. They like to blame poor people and say they're just not trying hard enough. Um, that might be the case here. I just don't know enough about him to say that for sure. But I can't imagine, like, I showed you guys my cup. I just ate at Burger King before I came here. I can't imagine that if I walked in there and asked for a job, that they would hire me. Not only because it would be so exceptionally rare to be hired on the spot, but also because I'm old. I'm 38 years old. Um, they don't generally hire people for like entry level jobs at my age. They either think, well, you know, you're overqualified, or at least you should be, and if you're not, you know, you screwed up your life and we don't want you to do that here. That's kind of what I've run into. TMUSA says, you should look into renting an Airbnb or Residence Inn. Maybe you could find a decent price. Oh, man. Airbnb is super expensive now. A lot of times it's cheaper to get a hotel room. Now, I do know Residence Inn because that's where we stayed when I worked for Battelle. And I have Bonvoy, which is Marriott's rewards program, and Residence Inn is part of Marriott. Oh, did you guys see what I did in my bottle? I dropped it on the asphalt from the roof of my car. And you'd think that black stuff, because it's asphalt, would come out, but I've scrubbed it with a brush, it won't. Okay, so I do know that Residence Inn has a weekly rate. I've asked them about that before, and they probably have a monthly rate, but it's not that much off. Depending on your location, Residence Inn is usually between, I mean, now this is before inflation, but it's usually between like $100 and $200 a month. Let's say a night. So let's just say 200 to 300 a night, accounting for inflation. I mean, they might give you like 10% off for a weekly stay, but I mean, that's more than most people pay in rent in a week. I mean, more than most people pay in a month that I'd be paying in a week, and there's just no way for me to get that kind of money. And considering Airbnb would probably be more expensive than that. I mean, with having no rent and no utilities, I'm not getting my bills paid the way it is. There's no way that I can add on anything on top of that. John Phillip says, gonna be -8 Celsius on Tuesday night. Jennifer says 49%. Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know what they're doing. They just keep raising the rates. And what that does is it makes it so that I have to keep lowering my hourly rate to try to still get some work. And even still, I'm really not getting anything. They're killing their own platform. SB says, everyone smash that like button. Thank you guys. Thank you for doing that. TM USA, Caleb Hammer does financial audits. I'm very hesitant to watch any of his stuff because I feel like the people who do that are like the biggest hypocrites, and just a lot of times the things that they say are just wrong. They don't take the time to get to know someone's situation. And a lot of the time that kind of advice is very sort of like judgmental and blamey. And if he is saying stuff like, oh, you can just walk into this place and get a job, I think that shows right there that that's the type of advice that he's giving. Which, I mean, would make sense if he's popular on YouTube, because people love to hate on people who are in bad situations. They love to kick people when they're down. They love to feel that they're better than other people, because there are people who are in worse situations than them. Oh, yeah. No, Jennifer, you are definitely right. A destructive relationship with Panda Express. You've been through worse. Yeah. Yeah, the Panda definitely treated me better. TM USA, on your last live stream, somebody said they'd donate $1,000 to you. Did that pan out? That did not pan out. I hoped that would, but I didn't get my hopes up about it. The person that commented that did make a few more comments on videos, maybe a couple days after the stream, but I haven't seen them since. If they're here today, they haven't posted any comments, but no, I didn't get anything. However, thank you to the 2 people who donated on PayPal. And it was, I'll just tell you the amounts, but it was $5 and $10. I mean, look, anything helps, and I really appreciate that. I know everybody out there is also not in the greatest place. But that money is currently still in my account, but it's going to be cashed out to use for gas to get me to North Carolina here in just a few days. And yeah, and there is a PayPal link down at the bottom, I think, of this video. Yeah, so there's the Patreon link, and then there's the PayPal link. Also, thank you for those that are still on Patreon, because I know you guys are just on there donating $1 a month to support me, because I'm literally not able to post any content to it right now, so thank you for that. It actually means more to me that you're doing it without getting anything out of it, than it would be if, you know, if you were just pledging because I was posting extra content on there. All right, 24 people on, let's go. All right, so got more and more. Hopefully everybody's coming over from the other live stream. Let's see. TM USA, on your oh, that's the one I just read. Jennifer, TM USA, I call BS on that one. Let's see what TM USA was talking about. It's cold in Iowa. Hey, how many minutes have I missed? I am actually not sure what comment that was referring to. Maybe it was the $1,000 donation, which, yeah, I mean, that didn't happen. And let's see, Sandra Koo, working at a restaurant chain is easier than working for Amazon. I would think so. I mean, I'm not going to say in any way that being a server or something like that would be easy. I do think that a lot of stuff would be easier than Amazon, for sure. I'm not trying to put myself through that, because the thing is, it's not about the hard work. It's about being disrespected as a person. Look, you guys have seen what's happened to me the last couple years. You know I've been through way too much of that already. I don't want to voluntarily put myself in a position. Also, and this is probably TMI, I pee way too much to work at Amazon. Like, probably because I'm constantly drinking caffeine and as a diuretic, but like they literally don't give bathroom breaks, so there's just no way that would work for me. Jonah the Architect says, who do you like better, Dave Ramsey or Caleb Hammer? Well, I'm gonna have to say Caleb Hammer because I don't know who he is. I have a lot of reasons not to like Dave Ramsey. It sounds like they do kind of somewhat of the same thing. TMUSA says, for me, I've binged Dave Ramsey and don't listen anymore. Caleb Hammer. Oh, holy crap. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. So I'm gonna skip to this just because you gave a super chat here. Jennifer says, not $1,000, but at least you get this one. Well, yeah, thank you. So that's 50 Swedish kroner. And it looks like, I'm not sure if this is with their fees taken out or not, but it automatically calculated that as $4.79 USD. So thank you, Jennifer, for that. And thank you for being here today. I know you haven't been able to make a lot of the streams lately, so it's cool that you're here. Let me see here. So, oh, okay. TMUSA is saying she also getting tired of Caleb Hammer. Yeah, I mean, I also follow a YouTuber that at one point I was going to collab with. I'm not going to shout out her channel or anything because, to be quite honest, I don't feel like she's a very nice person. So I don't want to like endorse her, but she started that too. Like, she still posts her own stuff about her own finances. But then she started telling everybody else what to do and what was wrong with them. I don't know. I guess I'm not opposed to doing that, but I would only do that if somebody like asked me to. If they're like, hey, you have a lot of experience in this, would you look over this for me? I'm not going to start making videos like, this is why you poor people are stupid and stay poor, because that's like what most of the videos are. Greg Schrahl says, I know how it feels to be kicked down. I had a high school classmate who did nothing but party during the 4 years of high school. I studied hard and graduated 7th in my class. He makes 6-figure salary and I have to sell my condo and live with my mom. Yeah, I know that feeling. You guys know I've pretty much lost everything over this relationship and then the lawsuit. That's kind of how I feel, to be honest. It's like, you know, I was good. I was a good partner. Unfortunately, I have to say that she wasn't, and yet she gets to come off looking like some kind of saint, and I've had my character destroyed. I've had my finances and job, reputation, anything that comes up on a background check destroyed, having done nothing, and you know, no one said a word about anything she's done. And that's so yeah, that's what I'm saying, is like it's that kind of thing. Oh, Greg, yeah, he was making fun of you for being poor. Well-Behaved Wallet says, hey, Mark, happy belated Thanksgiving. Yeah, hey, thank you. Yeah, I thought about having the stream last week because I thought people would be off work, but I had a big thing I had to do. So, on Monday of this past week, the 20th, I had a big thing I had to prepare for, so I couldn't have the live stream the day before that. Okay, so SB, I just saw your comment come in. Or wait, no, I'm confused. Jonah the Architect made the most recent comment saying, how did she destroy your background check? I'm going to answer that at the same time that I answer SB's comment of how's the lawsuit stuff going. To, I mean, they're kind of related. So when a background check is done on me now, I come up as on the domestic violence registry, um, and because of that, I'm not eligible for a lot of stuff. Um, so like, I don't have gun rights. My Second Amendment rights were taken away, and I don't get those back. There's a process, but the same judges that did all this to me have to be the same judges that give them back. I mean, I don't see any reason they would. Um, and also, I'd have to hire a lawyer and spend more money going back to court to do that. Um, she's probably going to fight it too. Like, she would probably oppose me getting them back. Also, I got fired from Uber Eats because they do periodic background checks, and it picked it up. It saw that I was on that registry. What what it is I had a restraining order placed against me. It wasn't a crime, and it wasn't a violent crime. But the people who set the requirements for the backgrounds, like, I don't know if it's because it's called domestic violence. I don't know if it's because, I don't know if they just see, like, oh, you had a restraining order, obviously something violent happened. They don't really look at the individual situation. They just see that on there, and then I either get deactivated or I don't get a job in the first place or whatever. So that's kind of the big thing, is the background check thing. And also, I mean, if you guys want to try, you can Google my first and last name, Parkersburg, West Virginia, which is my hometown. And literally the second result on Google is when they published it in the newspaper to try to get service on me for filing the thing. And it only has my name, not hers, but it, like, it doesn't state it as if it's like, you know, innocent until proven guilty. It's very clear. It's like, you are this bad person who did this thing, and you are, you know, like, you're in trouble for it. And that's the second thing that comes up on Google when you look for me. So, I mean, that's pretty much permanent. Oh, and then SB, sorry, I don't want to, like, get stuck on this forever. So how's the lawsuit stuff going? So, at this point, all of the depositions are completed. There are a few more that I wanted to do, but we just, quite frankly, ran out of time. There were a couple of pieces of information I wanted to get in discovery that I also ran out of time on. We have a, so we have a couple of hearings coming up. Trial's supposed to be in February. We'll see if it gets to that point. It might also get pushed back. We'll probably find out at the hearings in the upcoming month what's going to happen with that. But basically, I've gotten a lot of information. And on Monday, last week, so 6 days ago, I got to sit down with her face to face for the first time in over 2 years and talk about stuff. And it was not as horrible as it sounds. She was, I don't want to say she was, like, okay, but she was much less hateful than the last time that we interacted. And I think we sat down for about 3.5 hours. I asked a lot of questions. She asked me a bunch too, and I wasn't really supposed to be answering her questions, but I did answer a few. And really, more than anything else, I wasn't so much upset leaving the conversation. I was just more sort of emotionally drained, and it took me a few days, like, literally, like, almost like sleeping all day every day, like, to regain my strength after that. But now that part is completed, we're going to move on to the next step, and I don't know what that's going to be. The judge has not ordered mediation yet, but that's probably going to be the case, so that might be a thing that happens. Like I said, we have a hearing in December that's over 2 issues, maybe 3. We'll see. So those will be decided. And then I have a couple of deadlines that I have to meet, but there's less now. There's one thing I have to respond to and turn in. I have to write a letter to her attorney and send him a video file he asked for. But like, things are calming down a little bit. And so I don't know. I'll know a lot more basically by the end of December's live stream. Oh, and I'm sorry, I know there are so many comments. Before I forget, because I just mentioned it, what do you guys think is the better date to do the live stream for December? Because if I do the last Sunday of the month, like I normally do, that's going to be New Year's Eve, December 31st. If I do the Sunday before that, which would be the 4th Sunday of the month, I think, it's going to be Christmas Eve. So, of Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, what do you think would be the best day to do this? I want to see what you guys are going to say, and if I remember closer to that date, I will probably put up a poll on the community tab just to see what you guys think would be better there. Fresh Light says, do you think you could keep your reservations a bit on side and take job in Amazon or restaurant till you get a bit stable position financially? It would have to be Amazon if I was going to do that, because I can't do food. Like, I'm very uncomfortable working around people's food. And I also have like no experience in the restaurant industry, so it would have to be like some sort of fast food type thing. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I mean, maybe. I mean, of course they do have Amazon warehouses there like everybody else. The question would be as well, how soon would I be able to start? Because I know that they kind of ramp up for the holidays, so am I going to start the work there for a week or two and then get laid off? I don't know. I have one other prospect, and it's actually working for DoorDash. They have a Dash Mart there, which is it's like a convenience store, but only DoorDash drivers go there. Like, you can order from there in the app, but you can't actually go in. The driver goes in and picks the stuff up. They have people who work in there that just do fulfillment. Like, their whole job is just, they get an order, they go grab the stuff off the shelf, they bag it up, they hand it to the driver. I have not done a Dash Mart order here in Columbus for probably a year, but I know what it looks like because I've been the driver that goes in and picks that up. They are hiring for that in Charlotte. They pay quite a bit less than they do here because they make $19 an hour in Columbus and they're paying $14 an hour in Charlotte. But that's something I could do for a while because, and I forgot to tell you guys this, and this is 2 things. Number 1, if I can just get through this winter, that gives me all of next summer to also save money by living in my car, to give me more time to get my life together. So from like May to maybe October of next year, I should be good, Ohio weather-wise, again, to live in my car. The other part of that is that not 100%, but almost certain, the fraternity is going to give me my job back. I know WVU was terrible, but Raleigh was not supposed to be. And I think it just depends on what location you go to. What I can say is that when I was supposed to go to Raleigh, they were paying me $800 a month. They paid me $1,000 a month at WVU. They told me about it this year, and they said Raleigh now pays $1,400. That means it went up $600 a month in 1 year. Now, let's just say it doesn't go up again, but let's just say that it's $1,400 a month next year, and they offer me now. Oh, and keep in mind that Raleigh was like $200 less than Morgantown. So let's say the range would be $1,400 to $1,600 a month for me to do approximately 10 hours of work, which is what I did when I was at WU. If I can get into a location with the agreement that they do not put me at a terrible chapter like that they put me at a good chapter like Raleigh, because some of them are really nice and some of them are terrible. But if they put me $1,400 to $1,600 a month, almost passive income, because it's very flexible as to when I do my work. And now they're actually advertising that like you can hold a full-time job in addition to doing this, which was my goal, but at the time they weren't like specifically telling people you could do that. So my point in saying all of this is if I can just make it in the lifestyle that I'm in right now until August of 2024, more than likely they are going to have an opening paying at least $1,400 a month with free housing, utilities, and Wi-Fi for me to get a place to live, even though it's going to be in an apartment inside a fraternity house, where I might be able to get myself somewhat stabilized. And this is a type of job that would just renew year after year, 1 year contracts, one after another, and with the possibility of moving to a better location if I don't like where I get to. The pay seems like it increases every year significantly, which is awesome. I mean, I don't know any other job that does that. And if I get lucky and go to one of the chapters that has a meal plan, meals are included as well. They do add the extra requirement that you eat with the chapter twice a week if you get the meal plan, but like, that's fine. So that is the plan, is if I can get through this winter, that gives me all of next spring and all of next summer to get back to Ohio, go through my storage units, try to get rid of one of them so I have one fewer payment. And then by August, wherever they send me, that's where I'm going. There's some places I will turn down. I am not going to the University of Alaska. Absolutely not. I'm not going to go anywhere cold, basically. But we'll just have to see what chapters they have that position at, because it's not every chapter, and which ones are going to be vacant. I might have to take a shitty school. I might have to take, I don't know, somewhere in the middle of nowhere for a year until somewhere better opens up. But, yeah, we'll see about that. Okay, so then oh wait, I missed a comment here. Well-behaved wallet. You should give Caleb Hammer a try. He's tough, but he's let other. Oh, okay. Financial gurus like Graham Stephan audit his own finances. I mean, like, okay. I mean, I guess that shows some integrity. I just feel like if he were to audit mine, like, he would like rip it apart. But then I'd be like, okay, dude, well, what would your solution be? I mean, maybe he should make a video of him like actually doing his own advice. Like if he is gonna say, I'll just walk into Panda Express and get a job, maybe have him make a video where he actually does that and shows how that works out for him. I'm not 100% saying that's not going to happen, because I have been hired on the spot before, but it's extraordinarily rare. But if he can do it, if he can do that and show that like what he's actually saying does actually work, then that would make it more believable. and make him more credible in that. I don't necessarily trust Graham Stephan to be like an auditor of finances, just because I know that Graham Stephan has been secretive about his own finances, um, especially like the fact that he lived with his mom, and that like that's how he afforded to live in the Hollywood area, selling like multi-million-dollar houses. He's always tried to take credit for it just being his own hard work, and I mean, I know he became a realtor and he sold those properties, but he'd be out here selling $100,000 houses like everybody else, making very little commission, had his family not provided the opportunity for him to be in that area. And he doesn't want to acknowledge that. So that's when he was a much smaller channel, and you know, like that's an argument that he and I have had in the comments before. Um, so, Jonah, I answered your question about how she destroyed my background check. Jennifer says, "Have you heard anything from The Hobbit?" I knew exactly who you were talking about. So, Bilbo's trial was in August. And after the trial, the prosecuting attorney was like, well, he might try to come after you for the money that you owe him. And I was like, well, I don't technically owe him money. Like, the way our contract was written, I've actually paid him much more money than we agreed on, right? Because I was supposed to pay a third of the utilities, but in reality, he was charging me like the full price of the utilities when he was on a program that just paid, he only paid 10%, but he was charging me full price. That kind of thing. And I never got my security deposit back. So, I mean, I just kind of told the prosecutor, I was like, well, if he tries to sue me for that, like, I'm just going to show, like, no, in fact, he owes me money. So I've not heard from him. I'm not really sure where he is, because he was going to move soon as well. I'm not even sure if he's still living where we lived. I should probably check on that next time I'm down in that area. But no, I haven't heard anything from him, which I'm fine with. Yeah, after everything that happened at the trial, I would prefer not to ever hear from him again unless he wants to pay me the money he owes me. He can send me a check, but that's about it. It's just so weird because, like, if I ever do get back into an apartment, obviously the fraternity's not going to care, but eventually if I have to apply for an apartment, they're like, oh, well, like, can we contact this person? And I'm like, no. Like, no, he tried to stab me. Don't tell him where I'm moving to. So, I don't know. Let's see. So, Jonah, oh, okay. Talking about the background. Well, that can ruin a lot of opportunities. Sorry. Yeah, I feel like when I'm looking for jobs, that's probably going to come up. And I might not even know. Like, I may just not get a job and not hear back, and it may well be because they did a background check and just didn't tell me why I didn't get the job. But I'm sure that'll at least be a factor in it. Because it sucks, you know? I still to this day have never got to tell my side, and there's no kind of official record showing anything but her side. And I don't know. So I mean, I'm sure there's some jobs out there that won't care or won't even do a background check, but I think I'm pretty much stuck with having to be self-employed. I mean, that's what I want to do anyway, but I'm going to have to now. Okay, so regarding the live stream for December, I see a lot of comments. Okay, so I see Greg says do it Saturday, December 23rd. Jennifer said December 23rd. And SB says New Year's Eve. Oh, and Well Behaved Wallet said, yes, I vote for the stream on Saturday, too. So, okay, so that's 1 vote for New Year's Eve, 3 votes for Saturday the 23rd, which originally wasn't one of the options, but, I mean, I'm not opposed if that's what you want to do. I will be in North Carolina. I'll have to sort out a venue, but I can probably make it work. And it being North Carolina, it probably will be warm enough that even if for some reason I couldn't find a venue, I could probably just do it from the car. Should be warm enough that I could do that. So yeah, we can do that. So it'd be kind of like a Christmas/New Year's thing, because I wouldn't have made another video until the end of January 2024. Well, Greg says New Year's Eve isn't a good idea. That's your night to drink and party. I mean, not for me. I never have anything going on New Year's Eve. I mean, maybe you guys are going to drink. So this is ridiculous. Okay, so the last time that I did anything on New Year's Eve was 2020. The 1 year you weren't supposed to do anything. I don't know if you guys know what a papper is. It's a PAPR. It's a full body, like, Tyvek suit with a face shield and a respirator with a battery on it. It's like, kind of like, if you've ever seen E.T. and the people that come after him in the suits to, like, lock him up or whatever they were going to do with him. The stuff that they're wearing, that's what it is. It's so that it recycles the air that's in your suit, and you're only breathing that. So I had one of those for my job, and that is how I spent my 2020. Because the girl, well, she told me she had COVID. Now, later on, she told me that she had never had COVID and that I tried to kill her because I told her doctor that she had had COVID. And I'm like, look, that's what you told me. If you lied to me, okay, but I just told the doctors what you told me. Now, apparently, I tried to kill her because of this. It's ridiculous. I'm so frustrated. But anyway, so she said she had COVID, but she wanted to spend the holiday together. So I had my full papper suit so that I could spend New Year's Eve with her without getting COVID. So, yeah, I mean, full-on gloves. I mean, seams, duct tape down the seams so there's no air escaping. Yep. So, anyway, and this is living in a town that, like, you know, if you wore a mask, you got yelled at. Okay. Jennifer says, how is your social life now? Do you feel lonely, or are you enjoying some solitude after all the drama? Oh, well, social life-wise, I really don't have one. I have had to focus every moment I have since February of 2022 when she filed for the restraining order. Every moment has had to be focused on this. Just for the sheer time it takes me to learn the law and the process, and then to actually do it, and then somehow try to continue creating an income for myself during all of that. So between working and doing lawsuit stuff, I I barely even have time to speak to anyone. Um, as you guys know, my parents don't want anything to do with me. Um, and I just don't really have anybody. Now, this might surprise you guys, but I did actually start seeing somebody this year. I didn't mention anything about it. Um, well, partly because it didn't, I guess it didn't get like super serious or anything, but like, um, yeah, that just worked because she was willing to work around my schedule, and I don't think most people would. Um, and I mean, I'll be honest, like it was nice, not because it was somebody that there was like a romantic interest, but just having somebody that was a good friend. And I haven't had that for a really long time. This has been extremely isolating. This lawsuit and everything that preceded it. And I mean, that's what she wants, right? That's what abusers do. They isolate you. And I I just, until this is all over, I won't have time to do anything else. But it was really nice to have this girl in my life, and I mean, there was like more than friendship there, but like it was really nice to have her there. Um, and she disappeared one day, and I'll tell you guys about it. But she disappeared one day, and I took it really hard. I took it really, really hard. Um, Not in the same way I had with the girl, because that was like a whole different situation where it was like, a decade long thing. It was just because this was somebody who understood me. She'd just gone through her own separation of a long relationship. We kind of were understanding of each other. We fought, like, I don't know, we supported each other through stuff. And then just one day, she just kind of didn't want to talk to me anymore. And after a little while, I figured out that was going to stay that way. That was really hurtful. I did find out why. Um, the so she had been with a guy for, I think she said 8 years. Um, they weren't married, but they they lived together. They had 2 kids together, which you guys know I don't like kids, and I wouldn't normally date a girl with kids. But the way that she handled the situation, like I wasn't ever going to be involved with the kids, and so it kind of worked out. Um, but like, uh, but it's just like they separated. She started talking to me fairly soon thereafter, and she said it was really helpful, to be talking to me and seeing me, um, to get her through all of that. And one thing she said is that she had moved in with her friend, who was this girl that she knew, um, and that her ex had, like, kind of suggested that there was something going on with her and this girl. And she was just like, and that's ridiculous. Like, she's just my friend and my roommate, and like helped me out in this situation. She's like, she has 2 kids as well, and like the reason we get along so well is just because um like we have like we just want to raise our kids basically the same way, and they get along with that, and so their kids are all friends and stuff. So it's like, all right, I mean, never worried about it. And then literally, um I went out for a second date. I mean, we'd been talking all day, every day for like 6 weeks, but I was busy with my stuff. She had some stuff going on with her separation, and so we didn't see each other that often because she lived an hour away. She had me come out for a second date. I So I drove out there, and as I'm waiting, like, she's kind of like not really communicating with me all that much. Um, and throughout the night, finally, I was finally just like, should I just go home? Like, what? I didn't really understand why she wasn't responding, or if she did, it was like just a few words. And I finally did. I finally just drove home. And she apologized like profusely the next day, but it didn't really address the situation, and I still didn't really know why. Um, Come to find out, on the day that we were supposed to meet for the second date, um, even though, you know, she had had me drive out there and everything, I knew she was in the process of buying a house on a land contract. Um, but turns out somehow she didn't put it on a land contract. She just bought it outright. And she bought it that same day that we were supposed to meet up. She had gone to the courthouse. She had bought the entire thing, put it in her name, and then later the same day, she put the girl, her roommate, she put her as a co-owner of the house. Which again, like, they're already living together. Like, I wouldn't have worried about that. But then a couple days later, because we're friends on Facebook, a couple days later, she put that she's in a domestic partnership with this girl. And I know that can mean a few different things, but from stuff posted later, I can tell that it was definitely like a romantic thing. Now, she swore up and down that her ex was wrong about that, and there was nothing going on with this girl. And then apparently there was this whole time. She was already living with her. Like, that girl was there when I picked her up for the first date. Like, very, very weird. And so anyway, they bought a house together. And then just a couple days after that, well, for some reason she never blocked me on Facebook, but I got blocked on Snapchat. So I don't know. Like, I hate that, because that's the thing, is like, I actually really liked this girl as a friend, and I really wish she would have just said, like, hey, I've actually been seeing this person, and, you know, I want to make it official with them. Because I liked her so much as a friend that I would have been like, okay, well, that sucks, but, like, I would have continued being her friend, is my point. Like, I actually thought that was really valuable, and so I just didn't get that opportunity. I'm sorry I talked forever about that. Let me get back to the conversation. Okay, so Greg says New Year's Eve isn't a good idea. Oh, that's right. I guess I already responded to that. Well-Behaved Wallet said, how was your Thanksgiving? Well, I was by myself, of course. My mom didn't call me. She didn't call last year either. And basically, I had pre-ordered, like, the holiday tray thing at Bob Evans. So I went there. I brought that back to my co-working space. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer, yeah, okay. So 100 super chat for 150 Swedish kroner. And she says, goals for 2024. Let's make it a good year. So I have to be a little bit conservative in my goals for 2024, just because I know that I've still got my I've got trial in February. So the whole first part of the year is going to be leading up to that. And after trial, I have to do a couple of things that are sort of like loose ends to tie up regarding legal stuff with her. Because they were literally, like, there's a timeline that they have to be done on, and that timeline expires a month or two after the trial. So those have got to be done even after the trial's done. But after that, that'll be about the time that I'm considering moving back to Ohio from North Carolina, because it should start to be warming up. But if I'm being honest, 2024 is going to be a year of a lot of change. because it's the very first year since graduating college that the girl has not been a deciding factor in the things that I'm doing. And I don't know. I mean, I've got to work my business to get money consistently coming in. That's something that I haven't had time to focus on and that I really want to and need to focus on. So I want to make that stable for myself and also to expand that. I am probably going to have to do something about my car. We're at 226,000 miles and I'm about to take a trip across the mountains. So, you know, it might have 300,000 miles by the end of the year. I'm going to have to figure out something to do with that. Also, probably I need to figure out how to get myself housed. Now, the fraternity thing is probably the best way to do that, but that means I'm not going to have a place to stay until August. I do remember in 2021, though, they had some kind of deal where they would have let me come as early as July. So there is a possibility that I could come back to Ohio in like May and then go to wherever I'm supposed to go for the job until like July. And then, so basically the second half of the year I might be housed. What else? Well, you guys know, like, when all this lawsuit and girl stuff ends, like, my stress level is going to be a lot lower, and that will help my mood. And I think probably my mental health as well. The other thing that I'd like to do is just, well, I told you guys I'm going to work on trying to get rid of, like, consolidate my storage units into one. I'm not 100% sure that's possible, but worst case scenario, it's just much more cleaned out and organized. The other thing that I want to do is I want to really focus on my health. I'm not in poor health. Like, I have an amazing immune system. But my entire life, I've always had some kind of dramatic thing that has been happening that's kept me away from focusing on eating correctly. And also from just being in decent shape. I didn't even get to go hiking very much this year, only like 2 or 3 times. I want to do that more. I want to explore wherever I am. And I want to, I mean, I want to actually get in shape too, because there's been a couple times this year where I've gone to the gym and like I've lifted, but then that only lasts for like a week, and then I get overwhelmed again with like lawsuit stuff that I don't have time for. So I'm not able to stick with it, but hopefully getting that out of my life and having some money coming in almost passively so that I'm not constantly having to work will get me some free time. Let's see. Okay, so let me back up here because I know there's a ton of comments I didn't get to. Sandra says it's also all good if you need to take time out to work, because holiday seasons are usually where there's more job opportunities and nice to get paid overtime for it. Can capitalize on the holidays. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'll have to see where I'm at as far as jobs once I get down to North Carolina. Which, by the way, if anybody's in North Carolina, specifically Charlotte, but if you have anything like in North Carolina that is hiring and pays, you know, a reasonable amount, that would not have a problem with me only working there for a few months, or if you have a business that you would need help with, let me know. You can send me a DM on Instagram, or you can email me at the business email, and might be able to do that. Say Fresh Lights agrees with Sandra. Well-Behaved Wallet says, oh no, glad you just started seeing somebody, but sorry things didn't work out. How did you guys meet? Like everybody, we met on Tinder. I mean, I I feel like everybody's on there, whether they're serious about it or not. Like, I know some people just use it as entertainment. For me, I'm just on there to, like, try to meet people. I'm 38, so, like, the dating pool is, it's pretty shallow, which is also why I ended up meeting somebody that was, like, an hour away. But, I'm just open to getting to know people and then, like, seeing if we get along, like, if there's somebody I'm compatible with. I'll tell you guys, I met somebody like earlier this week, and I don't know, man. Like we went from Tinder to Snap, and then I could just tell by the conversation she was just not not a friendly person. So, um, I kind of I don't know how to feel about that. You know, it's like, hey, if you're gonna be on there and you're like trying to meet somebody, maybe just like a I don't know, like tone it down a little bit. Jeez. Um, I mean, we were also like super different. Like, I was just not going to enjoy the stuff she enjoyed, and but yeah, I don't know. It just seems like if you're trying to attract somebody, maybe you should like not be off-putting. Um, let's see. Well-behaved wallet. Yeah. Oh my God, we ended up at Bob Evans for Thanksgiving too. LOL. Thought of you. Oh, cool. Thank you for thinking of me. Yeah, um so the Bob Evans thing has become kind of a tradition, and I'll tell you guys how. So my mom got put in a nursing home in 2016. And honestly, I don't remember what we did that year because it was right before Thanksgiving. I don't remember what we did that year. But in one or maybe two subsequent years, I ended up just bringing her a plate so she'd have something other than nursing home food. I ended up getting her plates from um, Bob Evans because it's one of the only things open. And I was traveling to her, like we didn't even live near each other. So I would go down there, I would get those plates, I would bring it to her. Well, they used to do them for Christmas as well, but starting, I think, last year, they stopped doing them for Christmas. So in 2020, no, 2020 is when they stopped doing them. So for 2020, I brought her Bob Evans. Is that right? No, I don't know what year it is now. It's 2023, isn't it? Okay. In 2021 is the first year that they didn't do it on Christmas. So I brought her one of the plates, and then she complained about it and said it was too much food. And um, we, and then for Christmas that year, they weren't open on Christmas anymore. So I ended up, we got IHOP because in the town where her nursing home is, that's like the only thing that was open except for gas stations. So we had IHOP for Christmas dinner. And then also that same year, I'd had a conversation with the girl about what we were going to do for the holidays because we were supposed to have moved. I told her I was going to come back and see my mom for either Christmas or Thanksgiving. She didn't want to see her family at all. And I said, well, you know, I'm going to bring my mom this plate. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's what my family does too. So, yeah, there's just like this whole history and of there being like Bob Evans plates because like no one in my family cooks. Okay, so Well Behaved Wallet says our goals for you in 2024. Let's get you into a brick and mortar place of residence. Well, that is a start, and I think the best solution to that is going to be the fraternity house. Um, in my mind, I know where I lived in Morgantown, and I know what that apartment in the house was like. I also know what the apartment in the house was like if I would have gone to Raleigh, because they gave me a walkthrough video and they gave me pictures of it. And I know what the house looks like. So, seeing how widely those vary, um, I think that I have a a good idea of the range of what I could get. Now, I think I'm actually in a really good bargaining position with this because they know how bad the experience was in Morgantown for me, and the fact that they brought up giving me a position this year, and I was just like, look, guys, I can't. Like, I'm in the middle of this lawsuit. I'm not going to be free until next year. But so I think they'll offer me the job. If they don't, when I start seeing them advertise for it, I'll reach out to them and say like, hey, I'm ready to go. But whatever they have available, I'm going to be in this good position to bargain because I can be like, hey, you guys know how bad that was for me in Morgantown. Don't put me in a position like that again. Send me to like a good school with a good apartment where the guys are not bad. And those exist, I mean, for sure, because I'm from one of those chapters where we're like a model chapter. Now, Ohio State has that position. I don't necessarily want to be in Ohio because it's going to be cold in the winter. Although I guess if I lived in the house, it would be better than sleeping outside. But like, for example, I know those guys are pretty tame. I've been in their house before. Holy crap, Jennifer, thank you. Okay, well, let me skip down to Jennifer's super chat here. After I do that, I'm going to take a short break, and I'm going to get back to the rest of the comments. So Jennifer says, until you meet the one, you should make Tinder story time if you meet more interesting people there. I'm going to sleep soon. Thanks for this live. We'll try to catch the next one as well. Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, clearly, like, with my legal/relationship thing, it hasn't been something that I've wanted to put out here publicly, that I was even, like, trying to find somebody. But you're right. Like, if I get into some weird situations, I can definitely tell you guys about that. Okay, and yeah, and Jennifer, I'm glad you'll be here for the next live. I'm leaning toward doing it on the 23rd. So like 2 days before Christmas Eve. But I will, I'll post a poll still just to see what everybody thinks. I'm going to take a couple-minute break, guys. I'm going to be right back. There's a bunch more comments for me to get to, and I will get to them when I come back. Okay, I am back. It looks like the old people party is winding down. So, Let me get back to the rest of the comments here. Thank you guys for waiting. Still 22 people on. Okay. Greg. Greg says, my ex and I broke up in January 2018. No explanation as to why. She didn't want to be with me. She ruined my credit too. I want to buy a house in 2025. Yeah. I mean, I hate that, man. I hate it. And you know what's worse? Is, this has happened with both of them. You guys know who I'm talking about. The girl and then this Tinder girl. They will do that. They will literally just vanish and completely, like, won't communicate at all, right? You just want to have an adult conversation. You just want to, you know, talk things out like responsible adults are supposed to do. But then they won't. They just won't. But then they go on social media and they post about, like, you know, how you have to be a responsible adult and communicate and stuff. And it's like, you're such a hypocrite. I told you I'm still friends on Facebook with Tinder Girl. And I see her post that stuff all the time. I don't comment or anything, but I'm just like, seriously? Anyway, just disappointed in humans. Yeah, and then, so, oh yeah, and buying a house, man, this is not a good time to buy a house. Like, I understand if you don't want to wait anymore, but holy crap. Like, housing prices are so high right now, and interest rates. And I mean, depending on where you are, like, here in Columbus, you literally can't buy a house. Like, they sell for over the asking price the first day they're listed. It's been like that for years. But we also are one of the top cities for housing being bought by companies, like giant landlords, basically. So it's a real problem because, like, a regular person can't afford a house because that company can pay way more than the asking price, and they just buy them as soon as they come on the market. Fresh Light says, are you planning something for the land you have? Kind of. I'm still going to make a video about that, like, just specifically talking about that. I drove out past it, oh, I don't know, like maybe a month or two ago. And there's houses that are built on either side now. I knew my cousin had sold off the adjoining lots, but that was the first that I'd seen that there were houses built there. So it's almost like an urban neighborhood now where, you know, you just have a house and then a house and then a house. And basically there's a house in the house, and there's my lot, like, right in between, right where a house would fit. I'm not in a place to build a house, and I personally could not live in a house right there because it's right on a highway. It's on a main highway, and I think it's because of my PTSD. I'm very sensitive to certain noises, and car noises, like exhaust, engines, things like that, is something I'm very sensitive to. I would literally go insane hearing that constantly all day, every day. So there's no way that I could actually live there. I've thought about putting advertising there. I've thought about drilling for oil. There are oil wells all around it. I've thought about sharecropping it. I've thought about letting it grow up and becoming sort of like a nature preserve kind of thing. I have thought about putting a concrete slab there and eventually like a Morton building, like the big metal garages. They're like concrete slab poles, like wooden poles, and then they put like metal siding over everything. They have the metal roofs, but those are so expensive. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the prices of those. like almost as much as a house. And, you know, maybe even putting apartments there. It could probably only fit maybe 2 or 3, but something like that. But clearly, a lot of those things I'm going to need money to do. And in the meantime, it's still tied up between me and my cousin. That's why it's like the only lot that nothing's been done with. I paid half the property taxes for this year. I saw that he had paid them for the first half of the year, and when I went in to pay the first half, I saw they were already paid, so I just went ahead and paid the second half of the year. So they're good until, was it April? I think they come due again. But yeah, I'll make a video eventually on that when I have time, and I'll go into all the details as to what the whole situation is with that. Right now, it's just something that sort of sits there and it appreciates in value, but I can't really do a whole lot with it right now. Not until something happens with my cousin. And at that point, we'll figure that out. Greg says, I'm 46. The dating pool is non-existent for me. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm facing that. Well, I'm 38. Look, everybody's married. Everybody has kids. I don't want kids. I don't like kids. So I'm not going to date anybody with kids. This one Tinder girl was like a different situation that I don't think I'll encounter again. I'm not even thinking it's like a totally positive situation, because I think her thing was more of like, she was just going to kind of neglect her kids to focus on me, which is not like ideal. But like, yeah, I mean, there's really not. And I suppose, yeah, I can date younger. I generally do anyway. So, I mean, I guess at 38, I can still pull a 28-year-old. I mean, well, okay, she was 27, so I guess I can. And if I date younger like that, they generally have not, you know, added all this additional stuff that I might not be able to accept. So it's possible. Yeah, I'll just have to see how that goes. I'm in a weird place where, like, you know, I mentioned to you guys, I have like no social life because everybody's been alienated because of all of this relationship and then the court stuff. No one wants to be around that. But at the same time, so I mean, I'm saying it's like, it's nice to have somebody when they come into my life, but then like, I'm also not like desperately seeking somebody out either. I'd almost rather just feel lonely and feel alone than to bring people into my life that I like don't really like all that much. And well, like we're talking about, it's hard to find somebody that you really do. So we'll see. I don't know what people in North Carolina are going to be like. And then there's the whole issue of like, well, if I start dating somebody there, how are they going to feel that I'm only living there half the year? So there's a lot of issues to work out. Daniel, I am so sorry that I've not gotten to your comment until now. Daniel Villarreal, I'm guessing is how you pronounce that, maybe? Greetings from Taipei. What's up? Glad you could be here. Let's see here. So, Well-Behaved Wallet says, LOL, I agree about Tinder story time. I gotta go feed dinner to the family too. Here's to a good December. I'm really hoping for that. Yeah, for a good December. So we're at the end of the questions. We're at, what, a little over an hour and a half. So you guys let me know if you have any more. Anything else you want me to answer today. And while you do that, if anybody's typing anything, I'll kind of tell you what the plan is for the rest of the year and into next year for videos. So there are some things I still have to do for court, even though the burden has lifted a little bit. Like I said, a couple things I got to write this week. I got a hearing coming up on the 11th. A couple other things. Oh, yeah, I got a big deadline on the 5th, too. I should probably do that. But basically what I'm saying is I've got all this stuff going on, and I'm going to be very busy. So, like, the end of the year review for financial goals isn't just not going to happen. New financial goals for 2024 are just not going to happen. I'm still like months and months behind on the student loan video. That's honestly probably just not going to happen until next summer. With that being said, there's a few things that could be happening December, January, and February where this might change. There are some things that might change, and if they do, well, then I'm going to have more of an opportunity to maybe make some videos earlier than I thought. Videos won't be my first priority because I have literally everything in my life is just completely screwed up right now. To give you guys just some context, I had 47 unread messages when she disappeared in my email. I have over 10,000 now. Just everyday management of my life, that's where things are. I haven't filed my taxes in 3 years. I haven't filed for 2021 or 2022. By the time this all ends, it's time to file for 2023, but I can't do that without filing the 2 previous years. So there's a lot that I'm going to be working on to catch up, okay? And that is still, I'm still trying to build a business, I'm still trying to make money, and I'm still trying to like do all this stuff. So I guess what I'm saying is please bear with me. Videos will be coming, but they can't be the top priority. That said, I have stuff filmed that I will slowly be releasing whenever I'm done with all the lawsuit stuff and whenever I'm a little bit more comfortable financially. And I am planning on filming some vlogs. Might end up being one very long one, or it might break it up. But it'll be more of like my homeless vlog series, and it's going to be of my trip down to North Carolina to basically live there for the winter. And maybe a little bit of just, maybe I'll do something about my life in North Carolina, like sort of like day in the life of me being homeless now that I'm in North Carolina, since everything will be different. Greg says, I'm taking GRE in April 2024 and going back to graduate school. I can't sit around and watch the world go by anymore. Yeah, I never actually did take the GRE. I worked full-time through school, and I never had time to study for it, and then I just ended up never taking it. Yeah, you should, I don't know. What are you going for? Like, what are you going for? Master's or doctorate, or like what program? Fresh Lights says, when are you moving? That is a great question. So I'll tell you my thought process, because I don't have a solid answer to that. I knew that I was not going to be able to move before November 22nd. That was our discovery cutoff date. So I knew I was going to be doing to the last minute on that, and I was going to have to do that in person. That's passed now, this week. And I got a call on Friday from an organization that's trying to help me with the lawsuit. They're not going to be back in the office until Monday. So they're supposed to call me tomorrow. We're supposed to discuss. Depending on what they say, that might either hurry things along or delay things for a few days. I have a meeting on the 29th with another organization that's supposed to help with the lawsuit, but they're in eastern West Virginia. And I don't know if I don't know that. So my idea is possibly, so like that might end up getting canceled, but the idea was possibly I would leave here because that's 3 days from now. Yeah, Max. I'll get to that. I know who you're talking about. That's Gretchen. I'll tell you all about that. Um. So, um. So okay. Yeah, that's 3 days from now. I just realized that's 3 days from now. Holy crap! All right. So basically, part of the idea was maybe I'll drive part of the way down, get to the eastern part of West Virginia, have that meeting on the 29th, and then drive down from there. That may still be what happens if that meeting doesn't get canceled, and that somewhat depends on the phone call from tomorrow. I assume they're going to call me back. I do have that hearing on the 11th, but the judge has agreed to do it online, so that's going to be over Zoom. So I'll do that remotely. And everything else is going to be done like by mail, basically. I don't think I have to be in person in court until February. But then again, that might either get canceled or that could get pushed back. So I don't know. Now, that being said, I do not have the address because I came completely unprepared today. I don't have the address here, but if you guys want to send me anything by mail, I'm probably always going to have that Parkersburg P.O. box. But don't use that for now because I won't be able to pick it up until at least April, maybe May. I do have a physical address now in Charlotte. I made an arrangement with an office down there where I can pick my mail up there, and I'll be able to like receive mail there. So it might take a day or two, but after this video is uploaded, I will put it in the pinned comment. And you guys can send anything there. I'm going to use it as my personal address and also the address for the channel. So yeah, I actually had to do that for court because they needed a physical address, but I'm going to use it for everything. So after this re-uploads and you're watching it back, it should be in the pinned comment, and you can send anything there. And I'll be using that address until I go back to Ohio in April or May, whenever it warms up. Okay. So Master of... Oh, wait, hold on. Max says, if you had an open mic thing, I would pay money to see you live. Well, that's cool. I mean, I don't know if anyone else would, though. I don't know if... I don't really do comedy. I don't really do anything, so I don't know what I would say up there. Greg says Master of Mathematics Education. Oh, Master of Science in Mathematics Education. So I don't know anything about math. I went to one of those Appalachian Heights schools that essentially didn't have math classes. They only offered really low level stuff. So I'm really good at day-to-day math, but not at any more than that. But I mean, with that, of course, I don't know. In Ohio, you have to have a master's degree to be a high school teacher. I don't know about where you are, but at least with a master's, a lot of times you could get you can be a professor at a community college. My dad did that. He has his master's plus 45, but he never actually got his PhD because, long story, but he never got his thesis approved. But Sandra says, heard there's a shortage in teaching profession, but don't know if it's a good time to get into it at the moment after hearing a lot of horror stories online and with teachers leaving in droves. Well, yeah, that would be why there's a shortage. It's a terrible job, terrible pay. I mean, I originally was a music education major, and I'm really glad that I didn't end up finishing doing that because it would have just been terrible. Um, yeah, I don't understand why anyone would be a teacher. I really don't, because it's just the pay is just so awful, and the job is not enjoyable. And I mean, this is, I wanted to do this. I went to school for this. I had a teaching certificate at one point. I was in the College of Education. I have taught. I've had like part-time positions at my high school. Oh, holy crap! Uh, well, Jennifer's back. Says, "Psych, I'm back. I saved some money just for this live. That's it. Now I'm out. Good night. Take care, everyone." All right. Well, thank you again, Jennifer. And thank you for all the donations and this one as well. I don't know if it's super late or super early over there, but I understand you got to go. I appreciate you being here today. So this has helped out a lot. I do really appreciate this. And just come back on whatever day we do the December one, and we'll hang out then. Let's see. Oh yeah, we were talking about teaching. So yeah, Sandra, I just would not go back into teaching myself. And there's also like, because I mean, they're also desperate for subs, but the thing about subbing. There's a Karen screaming in the hallway. Hold on. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so, and I'm in like a soundproof room and I can hear her over that. Anyway, so they're desperate for subs, but the requirements for substitute teachers are so varied. Like in Ohio, all you have to have is a bachelor's degree in anything, and they'll put you in a classroom. They don't care. When I tried to go from Ohio to West Virginia to be a sub, just for a little part-time income on my days off from working at Hollister, they were incredulous. They're like, "You can't be a teacher with a bachelor's degree." They're like, I don't remember if they told me you had to have a master's or a doctorate. It was something ridiculous. And then you had to have the actual teaching certificate, which Ohio does not require. And then there was some exam you had to take that you had to have a certain score on. And then there was like a whole process of getting hired. And in Ohio, you literally go to the Education Services Center, which usually is over like multiple school districts, and you're just like, "Hey, I want to be a sub." And they're like, "Cool, do you have a degree?" And you're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "All right, we can get you in today." Like, that's it. There's no background check. There's nothing. They don't care. And they pay a lot more than West Virginia. So, I don't know. Now, I do know West Virginia, when it comes to subbing, they do it based on income. Or not income. They do it based on education. Because my dad, with his master's plus 45, he gets like the top one. So his, and this is back like 15, 20 years ago, he was getting like $200 a day. Like, it was good money. I don't know what he's doing now. But, let's see. All right, so Max, yes. So Max says, also there was a disappeared episode of the girl that disappeared in Parkersburg. She's 28, last seen at a bar. So that's Gretchen. I don't know her personally, but I know like of her. The bar has since changed its name, but it was called the My Way Lounge and Restaurant. It's notoriously a very Very sketchy place. And I don't know the whole Gretchen Fleming thing. I mean, I'm kind of like with everyone else. Everything sort of points to it was that guy. Like, he at least had something to do with it. If for no other reason that he was the last person she was seen with. He lied to the cops. He told them that she got in his car, which, I mean, they knew from the camera footage, but she got in his car, but then he told the police that he dropped her off at the police station, which is only like 2 blocks away from the bar anyway. She could have just walked. But, like, obviously they have cameras at the police station, and so they know that that's not true. I don't really know what's going on with that whole thing. I just know it's super sketchy. And my concern is, I wonder, and I can't tell you guys this publicly, so I'm going to make a statement, and it's not going to make any sense because I can't explain my reasoning behind it. But I do wonder if this is one of the same guys who tried to do something to my ex, like the girl, you know. I can't tell you guys the story. I don't want to make that public, but there was an incident, maybe about 2 years before this, at the same bar, where there were at least 2 guys, and something real creepy and weird happened, and it just seems like something that this guy would do, and I wonder if, because I know who one of the guys was, and it wasn't him. I'm wondering if the other guy was. And it was the same bar. So, I don't know. I mean, it kind of, not only is Gretchen from my hometown, but, like, the connection to something also happening to my ex there is, I don't know, it kind of makes it hit home. So I've been sort of following the case, and as far as I know, they do have some kind of DNA evidence. I'm not sure where they collected it, but they said they sent it off for testing, and as far as I know, they haven't gotten any results back. So I think that's still where it's waiting. I mean, I would say since they have DNA evidence that they've collected, I think they're thinking that she's not alive. I know they've done searches, which would kind of make me think that they think that she's not alive. And the guy also sort of disappeared. So, don't really know what's up with that. And believe me, in my community groups on Facebook and stuff, people post every time they see him. They'll be like, he's at Captain D's right now. And, but, yeah, for the most part, he's kind of kept to himself. Greg says there's no shortage. Talking about the teaching thing. I've applied for 60 full-time positions over the last 3 years, and I didn't get a single one of them. I'm a substitute teacher right now. You can start off as a teacher in Connecticut with a bachelor's. Yeah, hey, Greg, I mean, look, this would be a terrible career move for you, but if you desperately want to be a teacher over making any money, you can come to West Virginia, because they desperately need teachers. I mean, I would say there's more vacancies than filled positions. They also pay something like $20,000 a year for a teacher. So I guess sleep in your office. I don't know. They can't seem to figure out that might be the reason why nobody wants to work there. But seriously, there really are in West Virginia so many positions vacant. Because why would anyone ever come to West Virginia to work? So just an option out there. TMUSA teachers have a sweet retirement. That is true. That is true. Unfortunately, my dad never got that. He He was a substitute for years. He taught adjunct at various different colleges in the region. Um, he at one point got into some sort of administrative position at one of the colleges, but he only worked there for like a year or two and he got fired, so he cashed out the retirement that he had earned there. Um, but yeah, most teachers do. Like, I'm thinking about some of my teachers that I had that were old that I know are retired now, and yeah, they're doing okay. Now in Ohio, it's called OPERS. I'm actually in that because I worked for the university when I was in college. And even if you're a student employee of the university, you don't pay into Social Security. You pay into this. It's not just for teachers. OPERS stands for Ohio Public Employees Retirement System. So it doesn't matter if you're like a teacher or you're the governor or you work for like ODOT out on the road, like all of us pay into the same system. TMUSA, what is your music talent? Piano, singing, etc. I guess I don't have one anymore. I played trumpet. Um, I started. I started in fifth. Was it fifth grade? I think it was fifth grade. It might have been fourth grade. One of those years, because band was the cool thing to be in. Like, everybody wanted to be in band. And so I started playing in elementary. I played in junior high. And then in high school, I was supposed to join the soccer team, and I missed signups because I also played soccer in junior high. Well, speaking of soccer, still wear the Sambas. But I missed signups, so my band director asked me if I wanted to do marching band. I didn't really know what it was, but I was like, yeah, sure. So I did that. 1 year. I liked it, but I also didn't like it at the same time. So I only did it for 1 year. But I did jazz band. I was in 2 different jazz bands in high school. I did pep band. There was concert band, I think, was the other one I was in. I don't know. And then I ended up, after I graduated, we had a new band director. He brought me in as a teacher. When I was 18, I was teaching high school. And I was pep band director and battery marching technician, so for percussion. And then the next year, this would be the 04-05 school year, I was horn line marching technician. So that was obviously horns. Also, I was in drum corps. You guys know DCI. I hope you know DCI. Drum Corps International, Marching Music's Major League. So that's one thing about me you probably didn't know. I was a professional athlete. But the 2003 and 2005 seasons, I marched with the Warren Junior Military Band. And we did concert as well as marching and parades. So we were in MACBDA, which is the Mid-America Competing Band Directors Association. We were in that conference of DCI. And I also was around for the 07 season, but I didn't actually march. I just had a friend who I gave rides. It was camp and stuff was like about 3 hours away. I kind of like hung around a little bit at camp, but I never had like an official staff position. Oh yeah, and I also can sing, but I mean, I didn't take much in the form of vocal lessons. I can just kind of just naturally sing, but I took vocal methods and a couple of other things like that. SB says, what is plus 45? So I don't know if that's an official designation, but that's what my dad always says is what his education level is. Um, it's master's plus 45, and what it means is that he has a master's degree, and after he's completed his master's degree, he's done 45 more hours of graduate coursework, like 45 credit hours. I don't know if that's additional master's level work or if that is his graduate level. I'm assuming it's probably his like doctoral level because, and this is from my mom who hates my dad, so who knows if this is true, but my mom said that my dad basically went through his entire PhD program, and then when he went to have to go defend his dissertation, they tore it apart, told him he had no place in academia and to go back to teaching high school. And everybody that I've talked to in academia is like, well, yeah, that's what they do. They tear it apart and you have to rewrite it and then you take it back and you keep doing that until they find it acceptable. But my dad didn't do that. He literally, I guess, were like so mean to him that he just, I guess, left the program after that. So he has all this coursework that's done on top of his master's, but he just never got his degree. And I would assume that he has like professional continuing education credits in addition to those. Greg Schroll, master's degree and 45 credit hours of classes beyond the master's degree. Yeah. Since one course is 3 credit hours, that would be 15 courses after you receive the master's degree. And just to point out, it might have been different credit-wise back then because at least here locally, there's been a change of a lot of the schools were on quarters and they changed to semesters, but most of the West Virginia schools were already on semesters, always were, and I'm not sure where my dad took those classes. So that 3 credit hours could be 3 quarter hours or it could be 3 semester hours, and that does make a difference. Because I know when I transferred from a quarter school to a semester school, a lot of my quarter classes counted as the equivalents at the semester school, but they weren't treated exactly the same. Like, for example, the one place that made a weird difference was my English class. That was the one I ended up having to take over because I had my English class that I took at a quarter school at Ohio University, and then I transferred to Marietta College, which was on semesters. But for some reason, that was the one thing that they're like, no, you have to have 4 hours. And because you had 3 hours at a semester school or at a quarter school, you have to take the full 4 hours of English. For everything else, they sort of considered it not totally completed, but like technically it checked the box for the degree that it had been done. TMUSA, if you like math, you should get an accounting degree and work as a controller for a school district. That pay is good, competitive. My friend makes $80,000 in a small Iowa district. That's one of those jobs I probably wouldn't hate, but I don't think I'd totally like it either. I mean, personally for me, I'm not in any kind of situation for me to be going back to school right now either to do that. I'm good at day-to-day math. And every once in a while I find a situation in life where I can use something from like pre-algebra. I learned nothing in my geometry class. I took CP geometry in high school, but my teacher was a famous rock star. Like, actually, at the time, he was famous, and he was dating Topanga from Boy Meets World. And That's all he talked about. He talked about going on tour. He talked about his girlfriend. We didn't learn anything about geometry. TMUSA, public school salaries are posted online so you get an idea of salaries. SB says, what is your father's degree in? What field? So this is where my dad blames like his guidance counselors and that type of people. My dad first went to Parkersburg Community College, which is now West Virginia University at Parkersburg. It was brand new when he went there, and he got, I think he got an associate's degree. If not, he at least did 2 years there. And then he went to Marietta College, where I went, on a full ride scholarship, and he got a degree in history, just like straight history. I asked him why he didn't just get a degree in education and then like take some history classes. And he essentially told me that like, well, you know, no one ever told him to do that, and that his advisor told him to do history. So then he went to WVU for his master's, and he got his master's in just history. And then I don't know what his doctorate is or was. I assume it was also just general history. I don't really know what the thought process was there. Or like, yeah, because he said that his goal in life was to be the guy that opened the door for you at the funeral home. So I'm not really sure why he needed a doctorate in history to do that. And I'm pretty sure that's only part of a job, not like an entire job. TMUSA, do you think your dad still has student loans? No, my dad never had student loans. Neither of my parents did. I've talked about this before, guys, but my parents are like, were filthy rich. They never spent a dime on me, and I'm not going to see any of that because it's long gone. But no, neither of my parents ever had to pay for anything in their life. My mom, I'm not sure how she paid for school, but I know she didn't take out loans. Of course, tuition was like $5 back then. We're talking about, what, 1967 when my mom went off to college. I know she said her rent was $80 a month. So, you know, it may well have been my grandparents that paid for it, because I do know they made a deal with her that she could continue living at home, and she lived at home until she was 32. But that she had to work or go to school. That was the deal. And I suspect they may have paid for college if she went. Now, my dad, I mean, this isn't, I mean, it's like tragic, but like, you know, still, he had an easier time than some people have had with things. But like, my dad's dad was killed when he was 12. And then his mom died his senior year of college. So, it must have been right before he graduated, because I think she died in, I think, November of 72, and he must have graduated sometime in 73. So he might have had a semester to finish. But after that, I mean, he inherited the family business and all of the money. And I'll tell you, my mom met my dad 6 years after he graduated with his undergrad. And she told me at that time that he had just cashed the last $100,000 savings bond that she had left him. The last one. Now, I don't know how many there were, but there were clearly multiple. And like I said, he inherited the family business, so he had all this passive income coming in from rental properties. Plus, I mean, just all of the valuables that he inherited. Um, he never had to work, but for some reason, he he would just sell off as he needed money instead of waiting for the passive income to come in. He would just sell off the rental properties, which, I mean, of course, eventually meant he no longer had passive income and he had to work. And he was spending like crazy. He was buying people cars and boats and stuff. Like, this is not just from my mom. I ended up working with an old lady at a job I had in college who had known him when he was younger, and that, like, he was just known as the rich guy and would give anyone like thousands of dollars for no reason. So, and all he ever really said about it to me was that he would have held on to some of the money if he knew he was going to have a kid. But I would just think, like, why would you not do that for yourself? Why would you break up your business? Why would you, like, spend off all your money with no plan? I mean, why would it be when you found out you're going to have a kid that you do that? Wouldn't you care about your own situation? I don't know. Guys, I cannot relate to my parents at all, and they cannot relate to me. They have no idea what it's like not to have money. And of course, I mean, I am resentful that not only did they not help me when they had all this money still when I was growing up and in college, but, you know, and that they would not help me in any way with anything. But, like, well, the whole student loan situation is because of my parents. You know, I didn't even get to make the decision about whether I wanted to go to college. I was just told I had to, but they're like, we're sure as shit not paying for it. So it's like, get out of our house and go do this thing, but you're going to have to figure out how. So that leads me to taking out student loans. And that goes back to your question. No, neither of my parents ever had student loans. In fact, my dad, I'd be quite surprised if he even has a credit score. He's never had a credit card. He's never had a loan. He pays for everything in cash. And the last time I was in contact with him in 2019, he told me he doesn't even have a checking account. So, yeah. Eventually, guys, when things are better with me, I will make a video about that, about how, I don't know what to call it. I thought about calling it something like nouveau poor, because, like, you know, there's like nouveau riche, because we talk so much about the first generation to be wealthy, and we focus on, like, you know, how they don't know how to manage it correctly, and you know, they're generally sort of have poor taste and things like that. But I don't think anybody ever talks about the first generation to be poor. And so, I don't know, eventually I thought about making a video about that. And the struggles that I've had relating to my parents, them relating to me. I just thought it was something unique. But that's a long time off when I have a lot more time to deal with something like that, and to make those kind of content type videos again. And I think somewhere along the way, somebody asked me the question, and I think I got distracted. When am I moving to North Carolina? There's a lot of moving pieces, but what it seems like right now is within the next approximately 2 days, after I get my phone call tomorrow, I will be driving to eastern West Virginia and having a meeting there, and then driving south from there. I'm going to go at a leisurely pace. I'm going to try to do some DoorDash and Instacart along the way. And I should land in North Carolina somewhere around, I don't know, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Somewhere around in there. I don't know. Well, I'll land somewhere around in that time frame. And in the meantime, I'm just going to keep trying to make some money, so I have the money for gas, so that I can pay everything I need to for the beginning of the month, because things have been real tight. But I'm already trying to line up work for North Carolina, so I will. That's the plan. So basically, within the next week is when I should be down there. I just have to stop in Parkersburg along the way to check my mailbox one last time and to go to my storage unit to grab a few things that I'm going to need, mostly for court, and that way I have them with me. But yeah, it's going to be it. So I don't see any more comments. We've been on here for a while. It's been a really great day for super chats. So thank you, Jennifer, for your 4 or 5 super chats. Sandra says, really hope for all the best for your upcoming December and into the new year ahead, Mark. Well, thank you. I can really use those wishes, and I hope things go well for you too. So that all being said, thank you to everybody who donated. If you want to donate later, and thank you to the 2 people who donated last month. If you'd like to donate later, below the video there is a link to Patreon. You can just send me $1 a month, as little as that, and that helps a ton. Also, there's a PayPal link below that. Traditionally, anything that's sent there, I give you a shout out in the next video. The people who have donated this past month asked for that not to be the case. So you can do that as well. If you'd like to send something, just let me know what you'd like that to be put toward, and whether you want me to say something in the next video about it. Otherwise, if you're watching this video re-uploaded, there will be a pinned comment on this video that will be my new address in North Carolina, and that's where you can reach me. It's not my physical address, but I can get mail there, and you can reach me there from basically now until April or May-ish, and I'll let you know when that cuts off. So I do promise you guys that although I won't be putting videos out until our next live stream, and I will put a poll up later to see what the best day is for that, I will be filming some vlog content, sort of like the homeless vlogs, at least of my trip down to North Carolina, and then maybe once I get set up down there, I'll make another one of what my life is like down there. So just keep all of that in mind. Thank you guys for sticking with me through the whole lawsuit thing. It's looking like there's actually a light at the end of the tunnel there, and for once I'll be able to focus on my life. So yeah, I'm sorry that's drug on for so long, but we're getting there. So all right guys, thanks for being here with me today. I'm gonna cut it off now, and I will see you guys sometime next month.